Numerous pistols exist in the gun market today, and honestly, choosing one can be a little bit troublesome, especially if you aren't certain yet about how you are going to use the weapon. Furthermore, you will be dumbfounded by the extensive array of gun manufacturers. That's why I could not blame people if they go directly with those makers that have reputable names already. Among these tested and tried gun makers are Glock and Sig Sauer. In a nutshell, you will never get disappointed with any of their firearms. Their pistols, for instance, are recognized by law enforcement and military forces all over the world. Civilian shooters also enjoy the reliability of Glock and Sig guns. But between the two, which one is better? Hello everyone, this is Dylan, and in this video, I have tried my best to rate Glock and Sig Sauer handguns to see which one offers the best deal for shooters. Before we start, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe buttons. It helps the channel a lot. Now, let's get back to the video. An overview of Glock. Glock is a brand of polymer, striker-fired pistols. It is an Austrian company established in the 1980s. Its first products were actually used by the Austrian military. Glock uses a premium, nylon-based polymer on the magazine body, frame, and other components of its guns. This particular polymer is called Polymer 2, but its actual composition is not disclosed. What I can assure you is that the durability and reliability of this polymer material are exceptional. In fact, it offers more resiliency than other traditional materials, such as carbon steel and steel alloy. Glock is a popular brand of pistol among civilians and law enforcement in the United States. But according to NPR, Glock pistols are also one of the favorite picks of criminals and outlaws. An overview of Sig Sauer. Similar to Glock, the Sig Sauer isn't an American gun manufacturer. It's actually a German company that was established in 1976. While it is true that the Glock is the preferred weapon of the U.S. police departments, Sig Sauer is a top pick of the U.S. military. This is proven by the fact that the Sig Sauer P320 was adopted as the official sidearm of the United States Army in 2017. Aside from the U.S. Army, Sig Sauer handguns are also used by the Navy SEALs, U.S. Secret Service, and the U.S. Air Marshals. But outside the context of official use, Sig Sauer pistols are also adored by civilian shooters and handgun collectors. Now that we got the respective overviews of these gun manufacturers, it is time that we compare them based on different factors. Let's start with their weight. Glock versus Sig Sauer, weight. If you prefer light handguns, then I suggest that you pick Glock pistols. You see, Sig Sauer handguns are made from metal architecture. Their frames are constructed from steel. Meanwhile, they also feature serialized steel bodies. On the flip side, Glock is constructed from a polymer, which is naturally lighter than steel. But is their weight difference noticeable? I can't really be sure about that. I barely noticed that Glock handguns are lighter than Sig. But if you are attentive enough, you might spot the nuance. But having a heavier gun is not a problem. They are a better choice when firing high-caliber rounds. Their added weight reduces recoil and muzzle flips. At the same time, Sig Sauer handguns provide better results when making quick follow-ups. With minimal motion, your accuracy gets better. Again, just bear in mind that their weight difference isn't that significant, so their recoil management is most likely the same. Glock versus Sig Sauer accuracy. Now that we have mentioned accuracy, it's time that we assess how these handguns hit. Of course, I have to emphasize that Glock and Sig Sauer handguns are accurate. They will not become popular if they can't hit targets, even if being used by an expert shooter. While it is true that Sig Sauer is heavier, that's not conclusive proof that it is more accurate than Glock. Various testers of these firearms would even suggest that both of these guns are just the same when it comes to this department. According to Dustin Gladwell of Special Operations Forces report, both Sig Sauer and Glock guns have a similar degree of accuracy. Gladwell said that the Gen 5 Glocks have match-grade barrels, which should technically improve their overall accuracy. However, in actual combat, this feature might not matter. Interestingly, some experts are convinced that Sig Sauer is more accurate than Glock guns. Well, their claim is actually based on the shooting trajectory of these guns. In a research published by Steve Bloomer and Ian Pepper, Glock guns fire angular trend lines, while Sig Sauer handguns have parallel trajectories with the shooting direction. Hence, when it comes to casing ejections, Sig Sauer is a straighter shooter than Glock. But keep in mind that this criterion doesn't impact the comparative accuracy of Glock and Sig handguns. Glock versus Sig Sauer durability. Since both of these handguns are manufactured from different materials, is it possible that one is tougher than the other? In the past, there were qualms about the durability of polymer materials. Eventually, these doubts were erased when Glock guns showed their durability despite being used rigorously. The folks in Popular Mechanics explained that the polymer used in Glock guns isn't ordinary polymer. Hence, even if Glock guns are light, this doesn't mean that they can't withstand abuse. Of course, the all-metal architecture of Sig Sauer handguns is a testament that they can last for many years. Aside from the steel components, these guns are also embedded with protective coatings so that they can resist the elements. Sig Sauer and Glock handguns are both durable, but I deem that Sig Sauer has a slight upper hand on this aspect. But then again, let me emphasize that both of these weapons are tough. Glock versus Sig Sauer reliability. Many Glock and Sig Sauer handguns have undergone reliability testing. This is an assurance that these guns would fire every time you pull their trigger. The reliability of a firearm also indicates the quality of its construction. You can't expect that a poorly made handgun will be flawless every single time. Fortunately, that's not the case with Sig Sauer and Glock. Glock and Sig Sauer pistols are not perfect, but at the same time, it's pretty rare for them to experience malfunctions when used. Experts suggest that most of the reliability concerns for these guns are not because of the guns themselves. Instead, the issues often arise due to the ammo or magazine. But keep in mind that the trigger mechanisms of these two guns are different. Based on national interest, it is easier to pull a Glock trigger than a Sig Sauer trigger. Of course, we always have to take into account that Sig Sauer is equipped with great factory triggers. So that comparison is in the context of comparing Sig Sauer and Glock. In a nutshell, both Sig Sauer and Glock are trustworthy weapons. They should be your top choice if you're looking for a reliable handgun for combat and self-defense. Glock versus Sig Sauer size. Most of us are looking for handguns that we can actually carry. Personal defense weapons are necessities these days after all. Not all Sig Sauer and Glock handguns are designed for concealed carry. Some of them are full-size duty weapons. Interestingly enough, these two gun manufacturers intentionally designed their weapons to have streamlined frames. Between the two, Sig Sauer handguns are a tad bit bigger than Glock handguns. Let's take the Glock 17 and the Sig P320 as a comparison. Glock 17 weighs 22.2 ounces without a magazine. Meanwhile, the Sig Sauer P320 weighs 26.2 without a magazine. Glock 17 has a total length of 7.44 inches, and Sig Sauer P320 has a length of 7.8 inches. When it comes to grip, Glock 17 is slightly slimmer than P320. The former has a grip width of 1.18 inches, while the latter has a grip width of 1.33 inches. Their slide width is virtually no difference. One measures 1.01 inches, and the other is 1.06 inches. Because Sig Sauer is relatively bigger than Glock, this means that Sig handguns offer more cartridge capacity than Glocks. But if concealment is your top priority, then a Glock 17 or a Glock 19 is the perfect choice for you. Verdict. Overall, the subjective quality of Glock and Sig Sauer are just the same. I deem that any of these brands can give you a good time shooting. But keep in mind that you have to cater to your preferences and needs as well. If you are searching for a compact, easy-to-conceal firearm, then you should go with Glock. However, if you are looking for a solid, large handgun, then Sig Sauer is the best option for you. If you want to see more informative videos like this, just click the subscribe button and notification bell. Take care and stay safe.